My cheating fiancée tried to tell me that her affair was just a test. So, I said goodbye and walked out. Let me start from the beginning. Yesterday, I met my fiancée at our wedding venue for our 4-month-out meeting to finalize details. We drove to the venue separately because she was leaving straight from work. Towards the end of the meeting, she let me know that her friend was dropping off her rental car and needed a ride home. She asked if that would be okay, and I said yes, thinking nothing of it, as it wasn't that far from our home and I know her friend well. I got home and tried to get in touch with her for the next 3 hours, but received no answer. At around the 1.5 hour mark, I texted her friend to ask if she had made it home okay. I was very worried. My fiancée eventually came home and said sorry it took longer than expected. She hung out with her friend for a bit before leaving. I thought, okay, no biggie, just let me know next time, please. A few minutes later, her friend got back to me and said, sorry, I couldn't make it to the venue. You didn't see your fiancé tonight. I asked her why she would say this, and she replied that she didn't know, she can't control what her friend says. After that, my fiancé walked outside, and I started feeling really sketchy about the situation. At this point, I've never done this before, but I looked at her phone records. Yes, I did, and I don't regret it. I saw that when she went outside, she called her friend who had just texted me. I also noticed an hour-long call with a number I didn't recognize while she was on her way to the venue. I asked her what rental place they went to, and multiple other questions. She had quick answers that seemed legit, so I thought maybe I was just being paranoid. I decided to chill and sleep on it. This morning, I asked her to please show me the text from her friend asking her to pick her up, and I would apologize for questioning her the previous night. She said no. I then mentioned that when I caught up to her yesterday on the way to the venue, I saw she was on the phone. Who was that? She said, oh, that's the friend I picked up later on. That's when I knew for a fact she was lying. I told her I looked at her phone records and knew that wasn't true. She then changed her story, saying she needed to meet up with a coworker to discuss a patient. When I asked for the coworker's name and why she couldn't discuss it over the phone, she said she needed to show him the techniques in person. His name is Michael. At this point, I was sketched out beyond belief. We never lie to each other. I asked to see the texts with Michael, and she refused. I asked why not if there was nothing to hide. I pressed her, asking if she was having an affair and if she didn't want to be together anymore. She paused and then proceeded to tell me all the things that were wrong with me. I work too much. I don't spend enough time with her, and I don't listen. I was astonished. All of this was news to me. I put 2 and 2 together and knew something sketchy was going on. Again, I asked to see the texts, and after about half an hour of convincing, she finally showed them to me. They were crazy sexual in nature, and she talked a lot about me as well, how she wanted to be with him, and how they were essentially in love. She started this job 1.5 months ago. He is her coworker, and also 15 to 20 years older than her, divorced, and has multiple kids. I've been financially supporting her for the last few months while she got back on her feet, working extra so she wouldn't have to pick up a part-time job. We own a house together, which we both live in, along with 3 dogs and a horse. Sorry for the long story, but I am beside myself right now. I did not see this coming, and we were going to get married in 4 months. Any advice would help. As an update, I was finally able to sit down with her tonight and go over this again. She came in trying to blame me for what she did, justifying the cheating and lying as a direct result of my lack of communication and listening. She said she wouldn't have had to start talking to this guy if I had been listening better. I tried to explain that I was putting in extra hours to support her and the family financially while she was struggling, so she wouldn't have to get a part-time job. She said she would have preferred to get a part-time job, which makes no sense to me. She was under the impression that since this was short-lived, just 1 weekend, they only made out once. We could move past this when I brought up the texts. She was trashing me and talking sexually with him. She deflected hard, and I got nowhere with that. I told her that I'm not the reason this is happening. She went too far and should have communicated with me or thought about the implications first. But I can never trust her again, and this is all because of her actions. Whether she wants to justify this as my fault is up to her. At the end of this part, it got a bit calmer. I said, "Listen, we really need to figure out the house we own jointly and the 3 dogs. We came to the conclusion that either I stay and buy her out, or we sell and get new places. One of us will get 1 dog, and the other 2 will go to the other. That's where we left off tonight, and I'll keep you all posted on the progress. I'm curious what you all would do about the house. Financially, I can support it alone, but it is nearly 3,000 square feet and 5 acres of land, which was bought solely for her horse. She is taking the horse when she leaves and boarding it. At a barn. Update 2. Day 3, I was able to sit down and have a 3-hour conversation with her tonight. We talked about our relationship and what led to what occurred. It started with her telling me what I did wrong in our relationship. Lack of communication and spending too much time working on my phone. I don't disagree with any of these things. My mindset behind working so much was to support the family. I run an e-commerce business on the side and am a one-man customer service center. Deals happen 24 hours a day, and I am never not on the clock. I could have certainly been better about setting my phone aside and responding to people the next day. The lack of communication was on both ends. And a prime example of this is the fact that I was unaware she was unhappy with any of this. Was never communicated to me. She said she felt I would have gotten upset if she told me, but she never gave me the chance to work on it. I am not a perfect person by any means, and many times I do or say things that are misinterpreted by her. As rude. An example of this is a week or 2 ago when I was trying to help her with a budget for her financial problems, to set up a plan to get her on track. To note, I work in the financial industry and do this for clients all the time. She had mentioned that she owed me maybe $1 and would get that back to me next paycheck. I said something like, "I think it's a little bit more than that. Let's go through the transfers I've made to our joint account." It ended up being over $500. My purpose in doing this was not to make her feel bad, but to help her realize how much I've been contributing. She took this as me trying to humiliate her when I was just trying to help. Maybe my timing was off. She told me, "I've been too focused on money lately, but I was only trying to ensure we were okay." We still had quite a bit to pay for the wedding, and my budgeting mentality was on overload, trying to make sure we had enough. The fact that she keeps trying to justify what she did by attributing it as a direct correlation to my flaws really bothers me. She keeps telling me that she is surprised I would throw away 7 years of a relationship like this. I keep having to remind her that I didn't throw it away, she did with her actions. She told me that I told too many people too quickly, and we could have resolved all of this between us. She also said that she wouldn't have had to talk to someone else. If I were a better listener and communicator, I have finally determined the extent of the affair, which I believe is based on the text messages I read. They began talking 1 to 2 weeks before the incident. I don't know if they had met up outside of work before this time, but during this period, he asked her to the park to play basketball and talk. She met up with him, and they ended up making out. I truly believe it didn't go further than this yet, but I am sure it would have in the near future. She says he is not her boyfriend. She also took off tonight, and I have no idea where she is, assuming with him or a girlfriend. It is an awkward living situation, but I am hoping this resolves in the near term. I do think she wants me to get back with her and try to repair things. I think the main issue was a lack of communication that manifested over time. We got into a routine, lived our boring, simple life, and meanwhile, this problem was never discussed, and grew over time. She acted out instead of talking to me. I was lied to and talked about behind my back. She can be very sneaky, and I don't think I can fully trust her again. Obviously, it would be the easiest thing to do, but I don't think I would ever be truly happy. Understanding the root cause of this situation has helped me feel better. If nothing else, it will allow me to address my personality flaws and communication issues, and see things from another perspective. I started hitting the gym today and will keep a routine going. I also plan on picking back up on studying for my CFP designation. I took the week off work to focus on my mental health. Today, I called the wedding venue and officially cancelled the date. We were able to get some money back, but we lost a bit, unless the date can be resold to another couple, which is unlikely. I also spoke with her parents again to keep them apprised. They live far away, and I am sure they are worried sick. I continue to let them know everything is fine and calm, and they don't need to worry about their daughter. I did some research on interest rates. Nowadays, I can barely find an apartment for less than what I currently pay for my mortgage. I think my best option is to try and buy out her share and have her find an apartment. She seems agreeable at this time, and we will have an appraiser out to assess the value and see what half of the equity would be. And if that is doable for me, my questions to you all are: does this change your mind at all about the situation? Am I handling this properly? If not, what should I be doing differently? Update 3. It's been nearly a month since this whole situation went down, and I owe you all an update. It has been a very busy, emotional, and eventful month. Not going to lie, the few days after this happened, I was a pathetic mess, groveling to get back with this cheating partner. It's embarrassing to admit, but it happened, and it was all part of the process of moving on. While in this vulnerable state, I tried everything I could to do things right and make things better, but nothing worked. I was actually told that she had to make a decision, me or him. She did the right thing by choosing him. I think that's when I woke up and realized I had let my self-worth go down the drain, and I needed to take a step back and really focus on me and what was best. For me, it's hard after 7 years of doing everything for someone else to focus on your own needs. But that's exactly what I've been doing since I moved our joint savings accounts to my individual checking account. I calculated what was owed to me and transferred half of the balance back to the joint account for her to take. I've been working out every day since this happened. It makes me feel good, not only to improve how I look, but also to help me think clearly. I've gone suit shopping, gone out for massages, and spent time with friends and family. Not only was this relationship isolating me from my friends and family, which should have been a huge red flag, but I never did anything for myself. Buying clothes was just not something I would do. I was always worried about providing for my sick partner and animals. I've been seeing a therapist for the first time in my life on a weekly basis. It helps me talk things out and make better decisions. It's something I will probably continue to do after this situation resolves, just to keep improving myself. Now for the bigger items, I am still living in the house with my ex. She is sleeping in the guest bedroom, and we are at a point where the only communication is about feeding the dogs. I think she is a terrible person, and no matter what I say, in her mind, this is my fault. It's hypocritical to accuse someone of being a bad communicator, and then use that as an excuse to not communicate her feelings to me and cheat. I've stopped trying to reason with her because she is unreasonable. I've been keeping things moving by listing the house for sale. I contacted an agent, had them come over, and was happy with a proposed sale price. She then requested that I contact 2 other agents and get their opinions, one of which was recommended by her friend. Yes, I made all the calls, set up all the appointments, and met with these people. This is how the relationship always was, and even though it's not fair, I've been willing to do it all to get the hell out of here. After meeting with all 3, we ended up going with the first agent. Pictures were taken on Sunday, and the house was listed for sale that night. We have an open house scheduled for next Saturday, and we are already getting a lot of attention. She will be taking the horse to a barn somewhere. TBD. I had a conversation about the dogs and offered to take one or none, but she said she would take all 3 of them to keep them together. They are a happy bunch, and I don't want to fight over taking one if that will break them up. This also, selfishly, allows me to pursue a clean start. Unexpectedly, I met someone about a week ago, and I've been spending quite a bit of time with her. I have no false expectations here, but I'm enjoying hanging out with her. She's been through a similar situation in the past, and has been helping me through this. It's really eye-opening, speaking with a kind, thoughtful, and independent woman. It makes me realize what a narcissist my ex was: completely self-centered, dependent, and manipulative. I should have listened to the warnings from family and friends long ago. I definitely fell into the trap of being in a simple routine. I wasn't enjoying life. It was just an easy situation to be in. Nice house, lots of land, great animals. I didn't want to rock the boat, so I just continued on. You don't really realize this until you take a step back and truly reflect. Some might say it was wasted time, but I'm really using this as a learning experience. I will not ignore red flags in the future, and I will not fall into the simplicity trap. I will continue to maintain relationships with friends and family. I just want to end this with a huge shout out to everyone on here who commented on my original post on Reddit because I had no idea what to do. Those of you who took the time to try and help a complete stranger on Reddit are amazing. I read every single comment, and they all helped me get to where I am now. I'm looking forward to the next chapter in my life, wherever it takes me. Thank you all, truly. Update 4. Hello all, it's been quite some time since I've posted an update on this situation. It's wild to think that all of this happened more than 4 months ago now. With time, this has gotten so much better, and hopefully, if someone stumbles upon this going through the same situation, it will help them realize that time heals everything. I shared the house with my ex until mid-May. It was painful being there with her and the dogs, knowing that my life as I knew it had ended. We were roommates who didn't like each other. I tried to avoid her as much as I could, but it was impossible. We stayed in different bedrooms, but the dogs were allowed to roam to and from at night with the doors open. After the first few weeks, she stopped sleeping out, and that didn't happen almost at all for the remainder of the time at the old house. The constant texting and phone calls, however, did not stop. I think they decided not to pursue a relationship, but remain friends. I don't know for sure, and didn't care enough to ask. She moved out in mid-May, along with 2 of the 3 dogs. Saying goodbye to them was awful. The loss I felt could be compared to a loved one dying. During my last month there, I met up with the ex and 2 dogs at a dog park a couple of times. While they recognized me and were happy to see me, I could tell that they were doing just fine without me, which made me feel better. There was little conversation with the ex, other than about how the dogs were adjusting. She moved to a rundown house in a rundown area, to put it nicely. There was a yard for the dogs, but it was not fenced in. The last I heard, she was working on finishing the fence. During this time period, I hit the gym every single day. I also grinded hard at my side hustle, because I knew life was going to get expensive, and wanted to prepare myself. From March to June 15th, when I moved out, I had done 6 figures in sales at this side hustle. I also made 0 big purchases, which allowed me to save a significant sum in addition to the proceeds from the sale of my old property. Because of this, I was able to comfortably afford a nice house in a nice area with a decent-sized yard for the dog that stayed with me. Selling the old house was easy, but buying the new house was absolutely brutal. Thankfully, the buyers of my old house allowed me to rent it back from them for a month until June 15th. I made offers on a total of 5 houses and finally got the last offer accepted towards the end of May. It is really nice being out of the old place. The memories associated with that house haunted me every day, especially after my ex left with the other 2 dogs. It was just very empty. Moving was a pain, but friends and family came in clutch to help with it all. I've now been here a little over a month, and it is feeling much better. I am still seeing the same woman who is now my official girlfriend. I live a bit closer to her now, which is nice. She treats me really well, and I feel very lucky to have her in my life. She has helped me get through this situation and has been very understanding and accommodating regarding my need for space and my emotional ups and downs. I've never been with someone who communicates so well, and it is making me a better communicator myself. My emotional intelligence has also grown significantly. Overall, life is good. While this was one of the hardest experiences I've had to go through, I feel blessed that it happened. I was going to marry someone who was completely and ungrateful. I was so comfortable with my daily routine that I didn't want to disrupt my animals' lives or lose my house, so I was willing to put up with being miserable. I will continue working on myself and learning more about my own wants and needs. I will also continue to provide my dog with the best life possible. I do think about my ex regularly, and have lots of flashbacks of both good and bad memories. My new therapist has been extremely helpful in helping me realize that I probably won't ever get the apology from her that I want. She is just too proud to admit that what she did was wrong. Communication with my ex has been very limited, and I don't plan on seeing her or the other two dogs again. I have accepted that this is what is best for everyone. If I missed anything or if you have questions, please feel free to post a comment and I'll be happy to answer. This situation is over at this point, and I won't be making any more posts on the subject. Thank you for following the saga and for all the support throughout this process.